On your desk are pictures of sisters. I'd like you to pick up the picture on your left-hand side. Take a look at it. Do it now. Put it back face down. I'd like you now to take a look at the other sister. Please face open the right-hand side. Take a look at it. Put it down. Raise your hand if you feel like the average age amongst these sisters is somewhere in the 20 to 30-year-old range. Raise your hand if you feel like the average age amongst these sisters is somewhere in the 70 to 80-year-old range.
Wait, 20, 30. Twins?
Jojo.
Yeah.
Half of the class is in disagreement with what you thought is the average age amongst these sisters. How do you feel about that? No care?
I feel
Shlomo, you have a feeling on this?
Yes, I saw that her hair was black and not gray. So I don't think she's 70.
So Shlomo is basically saying and doing what 9 out of 10 of us, sometimes 10 out of 10 of us will do. We can't fathom to understand how somebody else could be in a disagreement with us. We don't understand why somebody could get to this line of thought. I want us to hold the thought there. Former New York Met baseball pitcher R.A. Dickey had a very interesting journey to stardom. He started off as an average pitcher for the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers had made R.A. Dickey a pretty sizable offer to stay on board with the team. And at this point in time, probably the weirdest thing that I've ever seen happened in Major League Baseball. A team doctor looked at a picture of R.A. Dickey as he was putting his arm around another teammate, and he took a look and he said, "Something looks wrong. Send him to get evaluated by the team doctor staff." And so they took him, and sure enough, they found out that he was missing some ligaments in his elbow. It was said about him that they couldn't understand how this guy can turn a doorknob without feeling pain, let alone how can this guy sustain to be a pitcher in the major leagues. Long story short, his stay at Texas was short-lived. He was released, and then he bounced around from team to team until he ended up with the New York Mets. Now, R.A. Dickey was in a position that most of us find ourselves in all the time. A difficult situation, a situation that we feel may be not fair. But before I continue the R.A. Dickey story and we see how he handled himself, I'd like you now to take a look at the photograph of the person either in front of you or in back of you. So the front row, you'll switch with the second row. The third row, you'll switch with the fourth row. Take the left picture, switch it with the person that I just told you to switch it with. No, ABC to we're here. ABC to we're here. We're here. The left-hand picture. Now everybody take a look at that picture. Everybody take a look at that picture. Very good. Face down. Now take a look at the right-hand side again. Shlomo Turkiya, is it possible that you were wrong in your original assertion with how old the sister was in the picture? It is possible. Because, boy, sometimes in life, stuff happens. And we only get to see one end of it. We only get to see the starting point of something called a process. And you know what R.A. Dickey did? He had every opportunity to say the following: why is this happening to me? It's not fair. What's happening to me is not deserving of me. This is not my destiny. Can't be that this is what God wants from me. But before I tell you what he did, boys, how on earth, I want to ask us a question now. How on earth can we have the audacity to think that we know how things are going to unfold? How could it be that we have all the answers figured out and so we can make decisions from right then and there? This is good, this is bad. Because you know what R.A. Dickey did? He didn't concern himself with the why is this happening to me. He concerned himself with the how. How should I respond based on the fact that this is my reality? Because I'm here. To question why it's not fair, okay, but where does that get us? What does that do for us? So you know what he did? He recognized that he would never pitch a fastball a day in his life. The guy can't throw faster than 85 miles an hour, which from a Major League Baseball standpoint is disastrous. So what did he do? He had a pitch that he called the something. He didn't really know what it was. Thought it was a forkball. Turns out he spent and dedicated time on this something pitch, which turns out it became a knuckleball. Now for those that don't know what a knuckleball is a very deceiving pitch with a very awkward release and a very awkward hold on the ball. And it's such a rare pitch that baseball batters have a very difficult time seeing the ball because they have very little familiarity with it. So, what did he do? He worked on this knuckleball pitch. And he worked on it and he worked on it. And he probably would not have worked on it had it not have been for that doctor that looked at a team photo. 2012, he ends up on the New York Mets, and all of a sudden, this guy becomes Cy Young. He was the #1 pitcher in the National League of the year 2012. If you looked at it from one point of view, if you looked at it from one moment in time, you'd say to yourself, it's not fair. You'd say to yourself, why me? But boys, there's something in life called process. And these are just starting points. They are not ending points. And so what's the natural reaction to the statement that I'm about to make? Oh, Hadid, when stuff that happens that's bad, it's great, let's have a party. I got demoted, fantastic. I got fired, great. I didn't get into high school, yay. But boys, there are some secret ingredients that go into falling down. Number one, it happens by surprise. We didn't see it coming. How could it be? I didn't see that the team doctor would see a photo of me. I didn't see it coming. It's not fair. We also tend to feel like it's not fair. What's happening to me, this is not fitting of me. I didn't sign up for this. And then the last ingredient, it hurts. Failure needs to hurt. You need to wake up and say, what the heck just happened? I don't like that feeling. Because when it comes by surprise, when you feel like it's not fair, and when it hurts, that's when you decide to wake up and say, I need a knuckleball. That's when you decide to say, I need something different. So in boys, in life, there is no such thing as bad in my books. There's good, there's job promotion, there's getting into high school, there's hitting a home run, good. And then there's greater. Getting fired, not getting into the high school of your choice, being cut from the basketball team. Why? Because when you have those secret ingredients and you focus on the how am I going to respond and not the why, you end up becoming a different person. You end up finding your knuckleball. And that turns into growth, turns into a different version of yourself, makes you a better person, greater. So boys, stuff is happening to us all the time. And we only get to see one picture of it. We only get to see the starting point of something called process. Who in this room is going to continue to be the average Joe and focus on the why, and it's not fair, and why me, and how could this be, when something that might be happening to you might be the greatest thing that ever happened to you? Because for R.A. Dickey it was. Focus on the how. How will I respond? What will I now do because I feel this pain? What will I now change about myself because I don't like how I was caught off guard? You find your how, you may just be able to create your own knuckleball and become Cy Young. R.A. Dickey did it. Now it's your turn. Thank you.